All right, this is going to be a halftone black knockout tutorial for my friend at Pixel Press. Pretty excited about this. So I like monsters, right? I like dragons, I like stuff like that. I'm a guy trying to come up here with something, for ChatGPT that's like a little more girly. I know a lot of our customers are female. Well, that's cute. All right, there's something. So I'm tweaking my prompt here, so you can pause the video and just read that prompt if you like. Boom. I'm just making sure that it's fading to black. The problem with this design is it's like, we have edges, so we could try to fix those, with ChatGPT actually. So, or Gemini. We could go to Gemini and we could be like, all right, here's this image. And I'm going to grab part of this prompt, right? And I'm going to say recreate this design. No part is cut off. Boom, create image. Boom. So let's give Gemini a chance. That's cool. This is going to work for us. And then I'm also going to give ChatGPT another chance. Yeah, I'm going to say recreate this design. Boom. Create image. Boom. And I want to point out that I'm using pro stuff, but you can use any image from anywhere. I'm just trying to generate something for the tutorial. So, okay, that might work. Let's see if chat can do better. And I think she did. I love the jellyfish in this one too. All right, let's go with this one. Let's see what we got here. I don't know, I like this one. I like this quality of this one. All right, and then we got this one. All right, so we got some options. Let's look at what we need to do to fix those images. So I know this is just supposed to be a tutorial on halftones, and I'm going to get there, I promise. But first, let's think about, how we're going to deal with this art. So let's just drag this out and try to get some of this. And we're going to do generative expand, and we're going to be like fade to black. I'm going to say fill in and fade to black. So we're in Photoshop, we're going to do generative expand, and we're just going to hit generate on that, see if that goes. And it did a terrible job. We're going to delete that, and we're going to Control Z. All right. And, sometimes that Firefly fill and expand, if you tell it anything, it's just not good. Boom. Oof, that's what we need. Awesome. Okay, so now we can do further tweaks, right? We can grab our paintbrush tool and we can make it bigger. Hold on, Control Shift New. Let's paint on top of this. I just made a new layer. And then I'm just going to take this hardness all the way down, and I'm going to make sure that this is black. And we'll just kind of give it a little vignette here. We'll just kind of go around the outside and make sure we're actually getting to pure black. That's all we're doing here. We don't want too much of that glow up at the top. All right, so we're just drawing around the outside, just, soft brush. And, okay, so now let's merge all this down. And then let's crop it. So we're going to come in right to the edge of all these elements. So we don't want wasted space. We're going to make sure our model is framed. Yeah. Go right there. Okay, and then we're going to come up here to where we're not going to see anything. Boom. All right, perfect. Now let's export this. So we're just going to export this, and we're going to call this Jelly Lady. All right. Everybody's jelly of her. And then we're going to go to Upscale. So upscale.org, free software. And we're going to open this. And yeah, 6600 is way bigger than we need. Let's just go out there. And now I'm showing you just downloading the actions for Photoshop. So I'm downloading those. I've already got them. So I've already got them up here. But the way you do that, you just import them. So you hit import actions, and then you're going to go find your downloads folder and select those actions and hit load. And then you're going to have these knockout actions. Okay, so let's close all of our stuff so we're not confusing ourselves. And then we're going to go find that upscale, open with, Adobe Photoshop. Okay, and then we're just going to knock this out. So we're just going to knock it out. Here's our black knockout tweakable. Okay, let's set the size. I'm sorry, set the size, image size. Got to do this part. I turned off resample. I'm setting it to 300. Okay. And then I'm going to do image size, and we're going to make it the size we want to print it at. Now, halftones look awesome big. It really does. So I'm going to always recommend that. I'm going to go 15 inch. I'll turn resample on, do 300. So this is going to be the big one. And, we are, wasting some space just a bit, but we're kind of framing our model just right. So I think we're going to be great. And then we're going to do... we're going to save it. So now, this is where you want to export this as a PNG or save it as. I'm going to save it as Jelly Lady, ready, 15 inch. Okay, so I put ready a lot. Oh, I want to save it as a PSD actually, just so there's absolutely no loss. PNGs are lossless, but it's nice to. So I'm going to say ready, 15 inch. So I put ready when I'm, when I'm doing something that is, when I'm about to halftone it. That's the only time I really use that. Okay, so now we're ready, and we are going to make sure this layer is unlocked. I'm just going to go ahead and save it. I just don't want anything to be a problem. And now I'm going to hit my black knockout tweakable. And this is where you determine how soft you want it to be. So this slider is actually already knocked out most of that glow. See how this slider right here is bringing the black in, okay? And we want a decent amount of that. And then this slider, if we take it this way, it's going to be softer, and you're going to get less detail. And at some point, you can actually make it look bad by doing that, of course. And then this is going to push and what it's going to save and what it's going to preserve. So I'm really kind of focused on her face. I think that's the part that I'm most worried about. And it would have been nice, and it would be nice to actually just save just her face itself. And I can show you how to do that, but we're just going to hit OK on this. Okay. And that is the magic. So literally, it is this soft. I am worried about her face. I feel like I should have something. Let's just look at it. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, that's what it's going to look like on black. This is where you kind of get in here and you're just like, I don't know. I wish I'd preserved more. Okay, so this is why we saved, right? We're going to revert. So we're just going to do File, Revert. You're losing stuff when you knock out. That's what you're doing. You're losing stuff. Okay, and we're just going to drag this way down. And I'm going to grab this and push it out too, because this is a really black image and I want to save quite a lot. So I'm going to hit OK on that. And then let's look at our solid color. Yeah, I think that's better. I'm just less distracted by the shadows, and I feel like her eyes are better, and that's what I was worried about. Okay, so now we've got it. All right, so this is our final, and I'm actually going to do that one more time. So I'm going to revert. I'm going to do black knockout tweakable, and I'm going to pay attention to where I set these things. So I'm pulling this down quite a lot. 75. And I'm pushing this even a tiny bit. I'm going to go 1.4 on that and hit OK. 75 and 1.4. And then I'm going to look at it with black and make sure I'm good. 75 and 1.4. Yeah, and you could decide you didn't like that glow. I like it, though. I think this is great. Okay, perfect. All right, and now we're going to just export this with our black off. We don't have to do any hardening. We're good. We're just going to export this as a PNG, and we'll call it Jelly Lady 4500 PX. And I think it's real important to put half-toned, because this is really only going to go on black. It's going to go on black or very dark. Navy probably would look beautiful on a dark navy. Yeah, boom. All right. And that's it. I hope this helps somebody. Thanks for ordering your transfers at CrystalDTF, where you can count on us doing a great job printing those halftones, because if you send this off to somebody else and they're out of alignment, or they don't have their printers dialed in, or they don't have a nice printer, it's just not going to look great. All right, take care.